What's up, YouTubers? This is Larry at TJR Sim. Today we're looking at Forza 7. This is my Forza 7 review on PC. This one will take a little bit because I want to try to cover a lot of aspects of the game so you have a full understanding of what you're getting into for your 60 bucks or 100 bucks depending on what package you go with. I went with the $99 package, which of course included the VIP pack, which is an extra 20 bucks for that, which turns out to be kind of a waste of money. It's all over the Reddit forums and stuff, and of course I don't frequent all these forums because I simply don't have enough time, but I give you my impressions of it. VIP, you know, in the past we're always or told, you know, it's a lifetime credit. So when you win a race, you get double XP, double money when you win a race, which is great for, you know, career mode when you're trying to unlock all these beautiful cars. So that's not the case anymore. Before Forza 7 got a little switcheroo, bait switch, I believe. Community's pretty upset about it. So what they did lately was they gave us a patch that gave us $1 million or 1 million credits, which getting real money was that easy. Just complain and someone gives you $1 million, that'd be freaking awesome. But anyway, we got 1 million credits and five cars you wouldn't easily get otherwise. Also, with the regular VIP, you got like 5 player cards that you could redeem as you play the game and earn more credits, double XPs or some exponential amount more credits and stuff. So wasn't too bad for 20 bucks, but definitely sweetened the deal with the complaining. So thanks for all y'all that actually took the time to complain to them, because I got another $1 million credits. Personally, I wouldn't mind I wouldn't hold it against you if you went and did the little cheats that's going around on a YouTube, you know, how to get more credits and stuff by playing with the Ram pickup truck and boost up your credits as well as get some free gear and stuff. Easy way. A little bit more tedious to do, but you know, whatever, to each his own. I think it takes a little bit away from the game, but then again, it's your game, do what you want. Alright, so let's get into it. So this is PC, and I am running Fanatec Clubsport version 2 wheel rather. Clubsport version 1.5 shifter, the version 1 handbrake, the Clubsport V3 pedals. And some great things about it is you'll notice we have mouse support, keyboard support, and all that. Now there is some little glitches here and there when the game does lock up on you ever so often. You will lose some mouse support here and there, and then it comes back after you start clicking around and stuff for a while, which that's kind of a pity. But other than that, the mouse support actually works really well. So I'm going to cover some goods and bads of the game. So let's get into it. So this is your home screen here, lack of better things to say. Forza Cup, that's the main star of this. If you remember in Forza 6, and if you like Forza 6, you'll actually like Forza 7. If you didn't like Forza 6, you actually may like Forza 7. Is kind of the deal with this. And the reason I say that is because the physics are actually better in Forza 7 than were in Forza 6. If you liked Forza Apex, you probably liked it more towards the end of the life cycle of Forza Apex because it got a little better as it went and had more wheel support. But I didn't care for Forza Apex. I thought it was a waste of time. I did get why they did it, and it's just to kind of prove it out for Forza 7 to get better. But Forza 7 physics are definitely better. You can look at my demo as far as how to set up some stuff, and I'll go over it briefly. Let's go to, you know what, let's do that right now. Let's go to, where's it at? Options. And video. If you're running a 21:9 screen, which just totally takes advantage of that, even though you're seeing it cropped here, once you go into race, it goes full screen. Leave full screen on, dynamic optimization, custom, native window resolution is what I had to run. If you started going, messing with all these other ones, because I have a 3440 by 1440 screen, which is not an option here. So when I go to native window resolution, boom, it goes full screen. I leave everything on ultra. Even went to advanced motion. I turned motion blur quality off because it actually just really lags your game out a little bit. And speaking of games as far as FPS and stuff, I'm constantly running. Every once in a while I'll dip down into the 50s, but most of the time I'm running frames per second, 60 plus, usually hovering around the 78 mark, just depending on how much is going on the screen at the time. So everything else is maxed out in this as far as that goes. All right, so go to the controller. Now, if you're using a wheel, of course, the Fanatec wheel, this is the better options, I think, to use. Go to set it up as a custom controller, and which is 1, and it saves it. It keeps it there all the time. Then go ahead and manually set all your gas, your brake, steering, handbrake, shift up, down, and all that stuff. Set all that up yourself. But then go to advanced and set your dead zones to 0, 0, 0. Everything else you can pretty much leave the same. Handbrake is at dead zone at 4. I do 4 because it seems to work a little bit better with the calibration of my handbrake, where it's not pulling the brake. Anyway, to each your own. The important part now, Forza, like I mentioned in the demo, has this really bad heavy spring. You know, the cars want to steer themselves anyways out of corners, out of slides and stuff, but you get this major just chatter and stuff, and you'll probably hear it on different forums or different YouTube video reviews. Not the paid ones, you won't hear it on them, of course, because they aren't going to mention anything bad about the game, but I'm not a paid reviewer, so I can tell you how it is. Force feedback understeer, I put it at 5. This is as low as it goes. Force feedback minimum force. It actually has plenty of force feedback. You can go all the way up, I think it's to 200. Let me see. No, 150, I'm sorry. But 100, which is default, that's plenty for my wheel. Wheel damper scale, set it to 0, and center spring scale, set it to 0. These are the most important, as well as force feedback understeer, as low as it goes. It gives you a more neutral feeling. You're able to thread the line a little bit better in between cars, to where the wheel's not trying to pull one way or the other, or always trying to fight you to recenter itself. That seems to work the best out of the gate, which is way better than Forza Apex gave you, as well as Forza 6. Forza 6 I couldn't stand playing. I played it on Xbox One. I couldn't stand playing it more than 20 minutes at a time because just that center spring was so heavy. It was just pain in the ass to play and try to get a good line and stuff. And plus, it was such a drift type game, where this one does. There's weight in the cars, and it is a drifter's paradise, I believe. But now it's actually drifter's paradise. Plus, it actually works pretty good on the track as well. For racing wheels. Glad to see this is actually on PC now. Love that, because you know what, I like to go take a car and make it 1,000 horsepower and go run it around. Now the career mode is the biggest part of this game, and there is some downsides to the career mode. Not everything is unlocked. It's a video game, okay? So you got to play video games like video games. You got to unlock things, which is kind of, you know, refreshing to go through, unlock new cars, win new badges, and so on. You see I got the Porsche gear here. And I got this Audi on here going on. I didn't actually want to launch into a race. I actually wanted to go in and show you this stuff. Let me exit out of this as soon as this comes up here. But where's the Sebring? Sebring is actually a lot of fun. But you know, we'll talk about this real quick. So you can start race. You can run your mods. You got all these buy crates now, which, you know, a lot of stuff is hidden behind loot crates, which I don't really care for, because there's actually literally some cars you cannot get unless you're winning it through a loot crate, which is ridiculous. And again, you know, I'm not going to list out all the cons and the pluses separately. I'm just going to list them as we go, and you can take it the way it is there, as far as, you know. I try to give it to you as if it's as you'll unfold or as you'll discover it yourself. Anyway, you got these mods. I never care for mods in the last one. and tokens as well, like in the other Forza Horizon games and stuff. This will become a token thing. From what I understand, it's built from the ground up to be a pay-to-play kind of thing. It's kind of the thing that aggravates everybody. I don't know if it's going to stick around forever or not, but that is how it is. Now, keep in mind, you're only spending $60 for a game now. I've been spending $60 for games for the last 10 plus years. So, being that technology has taken off, I don't mind them doing these pay-to-play things, and you get it for free anyway. It's just the people that aren't patient enough to actually, all the ADD kids out there that aren't patient enough to actually play a video game through its entirety, and they gotta pay to feel they have to pay to get something more when they can just play to get it. But in some cases, where you can only receive certain cars, by buying these is bullshit. That part really sucks. I should be able to win them, not find them in these crates. Now, of course, it gives me, I don't have to buy these crates, and it gives you something to spend your money on. So that's one, video game type aspect. This isn't a sim racing game by any means. So if you think it is, sorry, you probably need to go play some real sim racing games to figure out that it's not. I used to actually think this Forza was the shiznick, back in the day, and it was. I really enjoyed playing it when you were playing on just consoles and stuff. It was kind of one of the best to have around there for Xbox, and then of course Gran Turismo was it for Sony for PlayStation, which I had that too. Anyway, so you can do the prize crates, like I said, just buy some. It's a mixed bag. It's gambling for sure. And you'll notice down here, 2 laps, what comes preset on there. You can actually go to your setup and driver difficulty, change that on and off. I'm running highly skilled right now. If you're running the low 2-lap standard setup, highly skilled seems to be pretty good balance as far as getting to the front. Barely to the front at it. Sometimes you'll actually get to the front and you'll have a whole, on the 2 or 3 lap races, you'll have a whole lap to yourself. Unbeatable is not the case. You won't find that in a 2 or 3 lap race. You're going to have to run multiple laps to get to the top guy. Now, of course, fortunately, you don't have to place 1st through 3rd to advance to the next level like you did in Forza 6. It's more on a points-based system, so which is good. I like that better. And I like that I can actually change the laps. So, which you can do that. You can actually do a test drive too. But where's it at? Driver gear assist is where it's at. It's not in a common place for me. I don't consider race length an assist. So I think that's misplaced. I don't know why they put it there. I would think that would be maybe in difficulty. I don't know. It's not assist. It's not a fucking assist. Anyway. Standard is standard. Long and extra long is your options. You'll see long. If I accept that, go back. Race info goes to 7 laps. If you go to assist, change it to extra long. Accept. Go back. 20 laps. I'm not going to spend 20 laps on this, but if I was running a really high difficulty, 20 laps is actually, it could be pretty fun. You turn on the full damage, collision, tire wear, put it on simulation, and then it would be pretty fun because you're going to have to come in and pit. Now, there's not a live pit guys that come out like they show in their trailers. It doesn't exist. That was just marketing bullshit to get you to think it was. Alright, so I'm going to exit out of this real quick, get into the menu systems. But that is one aspect of the menu system that you need to know. Alright, so and here in the menu system while I'm here, these check marks, that means you basically got the full 1500 SP, the full amount of points you can get, which means you basically place first in every race. You have to get first to get the full maxed out points. Like this one, I don't have a check mark. I missed it by 10 points to get the check mark on there. So I can go back and race this again to, it gives you something to do. It's a video game, right? To get the full credits of it if it's important to you. Here is what I wanted to actually show you before it went into the continued career. Seeker, Breakout, Evolution, Nomination, Masters, and Forza. As you can see, I got the last 3 I did not unlock yet. I've been kind of completing these as you go. Seeker's actually pretty fun, good introductory to things. There is one, like limo racing, I think that's just kind of stupid myself, but I get it. It's just something else you win a limo at the end of it. Do limo bowling. It does break up some of the monotony of things, I guess. But yeah, what was it? It was this one here, the Open Wheel Legends. That was the one I could not play because I didn't have a car for it. I actually ended up getting that car in the Breakout one here. When you play this Legends here, you win this car, the BT24, and then you can go back to the Seeker and complete it. So some things you can't actually complete until you go to the next level, maybe win a car, and then go back and complete it, which is fine. And things get more interesting in the Breakout and Evolution series. Things get a little bit harder. You're going to want it to adjust your laps maybe a little bit further out. By the way, speaking of adjusting laps further out, sometimes you're going to want to do that just simply because the AI is broken in this game. They're ridiculous. Sometimes you'll get a good race, sometimes you won't. A lot of times it's bumper cars to bump your way to the front, especially if you just got it set on the default standard lap mode of 2 to 3 laps. You're gonna have to bump your way to the front because the damn AI just sticks it to you in the corners, and then they'll break in the corners, random reasons for nothing. And then as soon as you hit them, then they break even more to stay in your fucking way. So it's like a retard on the freeway when you're trying to get to work, Anyway, it is what it is. They need to fix the AI. I don't know how come they haven't fixed. Turn off the Drivatar thing. Drivatar's stupid, I believe. Yeah, it's kind of neat to see what other people paint their cars. Most people just, pick whatever paint job they like, of course, and then go with that. But multiplayer is actually a mixed bag, and I'm kind of trying to touch on this, not to make it too long of a review video, but cover everything. Multiplayer is a mixed bag. A bunch of asshats in multiplayer. Once they open up leagues, it'll get a little better, which leagues are right there to the side. But this is going in, of course, establishing a quality connection, blah, blah, blah. Join a lobby. Here you got welcome multiplayer, classic street muscle. These are all predefined classes that you can actually go in and race, which is cool. I mean, so I had a couple good races. No, I actually had one good race out of multiplayer. And no, it was at mid-race. After mid-race, after I passed all the bullshit guys, then it became good, and I finished 5th out of it. Multiplayer is what it is. It's not like you're going to run across more quality people like you do in iRacing, or even a set of Corsair or anything like that. So, moving on. Once they have leagues and you join up on a league, which I don't know why game releases that's incomplete. That's another con in my book. If you have this option, release it. Okay. Develop all your shit and get your ass together and release it on time. Okay, auction house is not here yet either. Another thing, special to dealer. That's actually pretty cool. So in this, you got these cars that come up. That one's actually says common. That's an uncommon, and that one's an uncommon. And it's grayed out here because I actually bought those. I thought they were pretty cool. Haven't drove them yet because this is kind of a game you collect cars on, right? But I will go back and drive them. I just haven't had time. I spent over, 22 hours in this game already. But here you see you got car limit reached in 3 days. So in 3 days you got to buy this. Now, here's the stats. You can toggle the stats on and off. What does it cost? I don't have the cost on that one now. Where is the freaking cost on this thing? I think if you... Don't tell me the cost. I think if I select it, then it tells me the cost. There it goes. You got to select it to buy it, then it tells you the cost. $52,900. I don't want that car, but that's how you can tell if you can afford it or not. You got 3 days left to get that. After that, and I think this stays up for a full 7 days, and it'll roll to another set of cars. Pretty cool. I like that aspect. Paint and custom, same as always. Customize your car, vinyl groups, paint car, find designs. That's all the same. Tuning upgrades, all the same. Your garage. This is interesting. This is where you find all your cars in your garage. Let's say interesting, that's normal. Car collection actually is what I was going to say is interesting. This is where you find all the cars you can get in the game. I don't really care the way this is laid out, scrolling left to right. It is actually pretty fast to do. I just say I want that one. It'll give me a little brief picture of it, or give me a picture up a little closer up so you can see the details of it. You can't spin it. There's no more of that Forza, what was it, where you could go in and explode the view of the cars and all that. That doesn't exist in Forza 7. So that is a feature that dropped out of it, which is a shame. I actually thought that was pretty cool to see the details of some cars and car engines that I would never ever seen in real life anyways. Just because they'd probably walk in a Lambo dealer and like, oh, where's your Rolex, man? You're not allowed in here. So that part has gone away, which I think is sad. But anyway, it is what it is. I'm just here to report what I see. Alright, then we'll talk about some of the bad stuff real quick about the game, besides the AI being broken. So I got this stuff written down here. The VIP sucks. You get screwed on VIP. They try to make it better. Let's see. Launched race. Forza. So when you launch a race, you don't qualify for a race or anything. Let me go to. I am looking for my videos actually. Rewards, my stats. Tuning, car collection, bear with me here. Forza TV, that's where all your videos are. Let's just run this one here. Load rally. And you can kind of see how some things unfold and stuff. Interesting, this is actually the costume I had on during the video game. Of course, now, you know, Forza 7, you got 700 cars. Some of the cars are repeat cars, of course. It's just different schemes, so it's not like it's 700 different cars. Like it's several Holdens and stuff going on. But yeah, this is, let you watch this race as I kind of talk over it. I wonder if I can turn down the sound a little bit here. Or hopefully I'm coming above the sound. Turn down my sound a little bit. You can see turn one is a pity. It's usually a fight to get a clean line. You can race this game cleanly, of course, but it is a little challenging to do. Let me switch. Okay, you can stop it at any time, of course. Rotate around, take pictures. That's still the same. Exit. Just trying to give you all the aspects of this game here. This is what I wanted. Oh, cameras. Play, camera type, trying to see if I can go in the inside of the car. Geometry, change car. Okay, replay cameras, car close. Okay, so you got to hold this down and the mouse button and then toggle with your keyboard and then click it again and then it goes into that view. Car far, car close advance, click it again. Wheel, that's what I want. Well, it says it's going to do that, but it doesn't do it. Roof. There's roof. Rear facing. See what that does. Helicopter, reverse hood, all advanced, slow spin, side dolly, pan cross. So at least you get to see what these different options are. 3/4 view. Wheel advance. I want in car. Where's cockpit? Car far, car close. Game cameras. There's no cockpit view. I don't see a cockpit view. That's actually really stupid. Alright, well, there you go. There's a negative. No cockpit view on the replay cameras. The cars actually handle a lot better, like I said. The car sounds, as far as sounds go, they sound good. They're decent. They're not, you know, once you get into PC sim racing and stuff, you discover games like Race Room, or the sounds are just breathtaking. You'll want to buy a different headset just to make your ears bleed because they sound so good. They're adequate. They're not nothing life-changing or blow your mind good, but they are adequate. Graphics, as you can see, are phenomenal in this game, and that's one thing that they did very well. I'm running a 3K screen, of course. I'm not running 4K, but you know, everything looks great. Like the antenna shaking on the car, you see that. You see different, like the wires in the car shaking, to the windshield wipers, the mirrors shaking and stuff like that. All adds a little bit of a realism and brings you into the action a little bit more. I think the mirrors shake a little bit too much because unless I have a broken mirror, I wouldn't expect it to shake that much. Simulation mode, if you're running simulation mode, of course, you know, you'll drain gas, wear your tires out, things will break on the car, you'll start noticing your engine starts cutting out on you and stuff when you crash too much, things of that aspect. You know, pretty much a morph of Forza 6 here. You know, to sum up whether this game would be for you is if you played Forza 6, it's Forza 6 and Apex mixed on PC. It came to PC, of course, so that's the reason I got it. I sold my Xbox and all that because there's really no reason to play. I didn't have a reason to play keep an Xbox anymore since all the latest titles. I don't really play old games, so since the latest titles come to dual mode onto Windows Store as well, just get them here on the Windows with more options. But anyway, what was I saying here? Yeah, it's pretty good. It's the handling physics are actually improved from Forza 6. You can actually pick these cars out, slide them, and control the slide a lot better than you could in 6. I'll exit that and we'll go to another race. You can thread the line, so to speak, way better than you could in Forza 6. Mount Panorama. Let's load this one up. Formula E. Formula E's are interesting cars too. I don't really care for them, but they were fairly fun in this game. And looked like it just disappeared. All right, super cheap auto. All right. This is a fun track. Now, getting back to the graphics, you can see they look, you know, photorealistic. They look really good. We do have dynamic weather in here. We don't have dynamic day change, so to speak. You kind of do. Because, you know, when clouds roll in, it's about the rain, the day is changing, right? But not really. But you can set up your race to start in a dry and then go into the rain. Now that you can't do that within career mode. Why is this locking up? Is this thing locking up on me? Maybe locking up. This is another downside to it. I think it locked up on me. Looks like it locked up. You get to experience what I experience here. Boom, locked up. Just reload it. Yep, this happens from time to time. The game locks up. There's another problem with it. So, you know, you have lockups on PC, VIP ripoff. AI is retarded. AI, speaking of AI, they will literally run you off the track. If you're in the big rigs and stuff, they'll literally run you off the track. It's ridiculous. Hoping this is still recording too. Won't know until the end here. And another interesting thing, that GTRS is actually one of the suckiest cars to drive, and that's the one that was debuted on stage. But I'm sure in real life it drives better than it does in this game. But it doesn't turn for shit. It hauls ass though. But that's about it. So now this is one of those little glitches here. I'm actually clicking around with the mouse. I'm glad you got to see this. It doesn't work after a lockup. So I have to just kind of use my keyboard here and go into where I want to go until when it finally decides to work. Let's go to Hockenheim this time since we had a problem with the other one. This is my GT350R. And that reminds me too, since some cars are locked away, you actually don't get them unless you win them in a certain race. And they'll tell you the requirements for the car and where I showed you the side scrolling action of all the cars. It'll tell you what's required there to get that car. Let this load up. Alright, so unlike Forza 6, using a high... oh, okay, that was another thing that's actually a plus here. And, you know, these are my random thoughts of this game, so... sorry it's not as organized as some reviewers are, but... So, on Forza 6, it was kind of... Man, that car's bouncing around. Forza 6, it was a little bit of a pity as far as, like, when you finished a race, and let's say you're in 6th gear with a manual shifter, when you restarted the next race, you started off in 6th gear. It didn't know to reset it, even though you physically put your H pattern in the first. It didn't recognize it until it started. So that was a bad aspect of 6. 7, that's all fixed. It starts off in first, whether you have your H pattern in 6th gear still, or you put it in first, which is good. There's another aspect too. Oh, when you do the instant replays, the rollback thing, which, you know, is predominant here in Forza 7, still instant replay, or, you know, rollback when you make a mistake. You lose connectivity with your wheel for about a second, sometimes even up to 3 seconds, which can be detrimental to where you'll have to roll back again a couple places to where maybe you're on a straightaway. And then restart. So that's another downside to it, and I haven't seen that on anybody's review. Let's see, another bad VIP did that complete. Let's see, what else we got going on here? Oh, the brake indicator on the HUD. Sometimes it works, sometimes it don't. That's another bad. Here's another bad. Here's a list of bad things about the game. So, even though you're on PC, you don't have access to Track IR just because of the way the Xbox infrastructure works, okay? It just doesn't work. There's no VR, there's no SimVive. They do have a lot of wheel support. Basically the mainstream wheels and old wheels work. 30-something wheels, I think is what it was, but there's no, like, Equiforce wheel. So if you want a direct drive wheel, which honestly you don't need a direct drive wheel for this game, a Simcade, you just don't need it. And even though they show off this game at the E3 shows with full motion rigs, they don't offer it. So it's not an option. You can't get a full motion rig and it seem to work. So it obviously works for them, but no one like Sim Experience has that working yet, which is kind of the more mainstream full motion rig setups. Game freezes, of course, locks up the PC all the time. I even have quite a few hard crashes in this where I have to reset, turn off the damn computer and restart it. You still got the heavy counter steering thing. It's not completely, you haven't completely got rid of it, but if you set it up the way I said, it's eliminated a lot to where the cars are actually pretty drivable and a lot of fun to drive. I already mentioned the brake indicator goes out. After lockups and mouse support, I mentioned that. Driver arms only move 180 degrees. And actually, also on that, when you're in cockpit view, when you go shift a car to standard, sometimes the driver arm moves to shift, sometimes it doesn't. So just a little nitpicking there. I don't really care that much about it. Tire smoke, like you saw there on the screen, you see it in the replays, which is great. You see it if you go to the rear view mirror, which is great, but when you're in cockpit, you don't see it in your rear view mirror while you're in cockpit view, which is a shame because it's just so cool to see that you're smoking the tires down. You feel it, you feel that you're spinning up the tires, but you don't get to see it in your rear view mirror. But like Project Cars 1 and 2, you can see the smoke in your mirror, the trail smoke in your mirror, which is really cool. I wish they would add that in, but they don't. And the last, of course, is loot boxes, which I already mentioned. So that kind of sums up all the bads. Gonna be almost perfect cockpit view. Now, some the goods, of course. Let's list off some of the goods here. 60 plus FPS is really easy to attain. I'm running a 980 Ti, running 60 FPS all the time, 60 to 100. Replay mode, I don't run that fast. As right now, it's locked at 33 right here in replay mode. So replay mode is not at 60. You're able to remove your steering wheel, so you're able to. You can't adjust your cam cockpit like you can on Project Cars 2 or 1 for that matter. But you can eliminate your wheel to where you're zoomed up, which is actually a big drive of Forza 6. You could not do that, and some of the cars you literally felt like you're sitting in the back seat. So that's all but eliminated in Forza 7. It's not perfect, but it's definitely really drivable. Added options, of course, you got the added options like I mentioned to change the laps in the race and stuff. Nighttime, great night to day transition in races. That's actually pretty cool. And when you're in races, you can't actually. No, I'm sorry. Yeah, I was thinking about the rain aspect. You know, you can set it up. You can't change that in career mode. Career mode is preset to do whatever it's going to do. Some races will be rain, some won't. When you have those cards, the cards, you can get some of those mods to actually allow you to get more points. Because one of the cards will be race at night. That's the only way you can turn on in the career mode, race at night. So things like that. There's not a lot of tuning in the cars as far as career mode goes. Everything's homologated. And the cars come pretty much homologated to the max. And you get it. There are a few things you can tweak. Nothing with tire grip or anything. Some settings as far as your ride height, your tire pressures, some of that you can change. Tire pressures you can always change, but ride heights on some cars you can change for the career mode. But most of the stuff is locked away. You can't change it. Now that's a career. That's what the career mode's for. If you want to do all that aspects, if you want to have total control of it, you're gonna have to go to the single player to do that. Let's see. And my mouse is still locked away. Great. Let's see, what else? My mouse work yet? No, it does not. Great. Alright, let's go to another race here. Frog. Stadium trucks. Some of these trucks are pretty cool to race. This one is actually not too bad. It's kind of fun to race. You can get some clean racing. You can definitely feel the sway in the tires. Another one, an interesting one, is the Polaris races. You're racing Polaris, and who thought that would have been fun, right? But they're actually a lot of fun because you'll get the front wheel off the ground when you're turning too sharply on some of the corners, and really upsets everything, which is really fun. You know, Forza, you know, it really comes down to, and I can tell you, oh, you know what, here's another good thing about this thing. You do have independent wheel support, so like I have my Fanatec wheel is one USB. I don't have my shifter plugged into the wheel, or my handbrake's actually plugged into my V3 pedals. But I have my shifter separately on USB, so it recognizes separate devices, which is awesome. Big step up from the other ones. And I can use my H-pattern shifter. If I say manual with clutch, I can use, of course, my clutch. But I can switch quickly between my paddle shifters and the H-pattern shifter, even though they're separate USB devices, which is good. What else was I going to say? Yeah, that was it there. Oh, the top buttons on your Forza hub, on your Forza wheel. In Forza 6, they didn't work. They were like mapped to your handbrake and then changing views or something like that. But they were basically rendered. There's 6 buttons on your Xbox hub that were rendered useless, and to me. And now you can actually map them to do what the heck you want to. So they fixed that, which is greatly appreciated. All in all, you know, Forza 7 is a franchise. Forza itself is a franchise you either like or you don't like, just like Gran Turismo is. I grew up with Gran Turismo in the day. And then, Forza came out, and I started going to Forza as well, and I really enjoyed the series through the years. When I had lesser of a wheel, a cheaper wheel, like say the Xbox 360 wheel back in the day, Forza was fantastic because the wheel didn't demand that much. You didn't get that much realism as you do with a high-end wheel. So the center spring and all that, heavy center spring and stuff was great. Not until now, Forza 7, has it gotten fun for me again with a wheel. All the other iterations, it was actually Forza was way better to play with on a controller, to me, to be faster. But now with Forza 7, it's actually playable with a wheel, I think, with a higher end wheel like Fanatec V2 or even the 2.5, of course. And of course the direct drive wheel that's going to be coming, which will be way overkill for this game. But yeah, you'll be able to use it. So, is this game for you? Don't know. I'm just listed out all the goods and bads of it. I find that Forza, in conclusion, is, do you want to wait for a sale for this game on PC? You can. It's up to you, of course. Don't expect to sell anytime soon because it's Forza. It's their AAA title. Look at catching air there. That's pretty badass. It's a AAA title, so it's not like it's going to go on sale anytime soon. So you either just accept it the way it is, play the demo, see if you like it. If you like the demo, you're going to like, Forza 7 Motorsports itself. But it's very addicting. It's definitely a game that gets entry-level sim racers into sim racing. It's easy to pick up. It's easy to drive. It's not full physics. But it's understandable physics. It's easy for you to comprehend what's going to be happening next. Sliding the truck around, in this case, drifting around through the corners and stuff. You're able to drive it pretty fast and easily with any wheel, really. But especially a higher end wheel, it's actually really drivable now. It can get frustrating the single player with the AI. If you want to go through races and go through the career mode real quick, set it on the standard mode and go 2-3 laps on each race, you're going to have to dumb down the AI and pass them on the shoulders and then, to get up to first place, to get all your maximum points. But to me, that's not a lot of fun. I like it to be challenging. So, if I want to go short races, like 2 or 3 laps, I'll just put them on highly skilled. If I want to run a longer race, I'm going to bump the AI up to pro level and run a longer race. Maybe do some pits and stuff like that, just to make it more fun. It's actually very fun to, and as you see this truck just flying around, look at the toe on that thing. But it's actually a lot of fun to drive. So they did a real good job as far as making it accessible on PC and actually being a lot of fun to drive. And of course, obviously getting newcomers into sim racing, which is what we need. We need more sim racers in here, so development becomes even more easy as far as they'll produce more games. There'll be more people with peripherals that work for it. Now, whenever Forza gets the like AI VR working, or for me Track IR, because I don't own a VR headset, but Track IR would be awesome in this game to be able to look around instead of mapping, look left, look right on my wheel. So that'd be real good. Also to be able to map certain aspects like your brake bias, front and back and stuff would be nice to have that mappable. It's not a sim, so it's not, doesn't have all those little aspects, but what it does really well, and it looks really good doing it. But anyway, I listed out all the bads and all the goods I can think of, and it's up to you to make a decision whether it's worth your time or not. But I like it. I'm enjoying it. Got over 20 hours in this game so far. It's a good breakup from the more professional sims like Assetto Corsa, iRacing, Automobilista, R Factor 2. Just because the fact that I can go, unlock, have a career mode to unlock some things is kind of fun, and modify the hell out of them. Put 800 horsepower on a certain car and hang on for dear life. So that's actually a lot of fun. All in all, fun game. Check it out, and stay tuned for some more here at TJR Sim. Till Until next time, hope you enjoyed it. Leave your comments on what you like about the review, or actually just really about the game. I know I can always improve myself on doing reviews, be a little bit more organized on them and stuff. But you know, I'm a random thinker, randomly thinking different things. So that's just my format. But until next time, leave some comments below. Don't fight though. See you next time. I'm out.